It started like most Tuesdays do, uneventful and slightly sticky. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating stories. The kind of morning where backpacks drag a little heavier, and the smell of glue sticks still lingers in the hallway from art class the day before. Room 5B at Magnolia Grove Elementary buzzed with low chatter and the crinkle of snack wrappers hidden in desk drawers. The bell rang sharp at 9:00 a.m. Ms. Hildebrand, young and smiley with a habit of clapping twice before speaking, stepped to the front and said, "Okay, friends, time for our family career day talks." This was the moment the kids had been prepping for all week. Index cards scribbled with crayon, practiced lines in front of bathroom mirrors. One by one, they stood. My mom's a baker. She makes strawberry cakes and lets me lick the spoon. My uncle drives a garbage truck and honks twice when he sees me. My sister's in the army. Sort of counts, right? Applause. Giggles. More clapping. Then it was Nico's turn. Nico Ayers was quiet, brilliantly so. He wore the same navy hoodie almost every day, eyes sharp behind round glasses, and always had a smudge of pencil on his left hand. He stood slowly, a folded note card trembling slightly in his fingers. "My dad," he said with a small but steady voice, "is an aerospace engineer. He works on spacecraft systems at Oriontech." For a split second, there was silence. Then, laughter. Not cruel all at once, but worse, the kind that trickled through the classroom like a slow leak in the ceiling. "You mean like NASA?" someone blurted out. "No way," a kid near the window scoffed. "He's lying. Dude, your dad works on rockets. Does he clean the cafeteria at Oriontech or something?" Even Ms. Hildebrand's smile faltered. Her brows lifted just enough to register disbelief, though she said nothing outright. Nico stood there, not blinking, not speaking, just waiting for them to be done. "My dad designs guidance systems for interplanetary missions," he said softly. "He's a senior systems architect." Silence again, followed by a few confused whispers. Ms. Hildebrand cleared her throat. "Okay. Thank you, Nico. Next up, Alia." Nico sat down slowly. His ears were burning. After class, Nico didn't rush for the playground. He stayed back, shoving his books slowly into his backpack as the noise of recess echoed outside. Ms. Hildebrand gave him a soft glance from her desk, like she wanted to say something, but didn't. Nico didn't need her pity. At home, the walk from the school bus felt longer than usual. Magnolia Grove was quiet on weekdays. Lawnmowers buzzed in the distance. The Ayers house sat on a quiet cul-de-sac, peach-colored with peeling paint on the porch railing and a cracked window that had been taped months ago but never replaced. Inside, it smelled like soy sauce and black coffee. "Hey, kid," came a warm voice from the kitchen. There he was, Malcolm Ayers, dressed in a gray Oriontech hoodie, standing over a laptop with blueprints and digital schematics spread out like puzzle pieces. "School okay?" he asked, not looking up. Nico hesitated, sliding onto a kitchen stool. They laughed. That made Malcolm pause. He turned, slow and careful, and gave his son a look, not of surprise, but recognition. "Because of what you said." Nico nodded. "I told them you worked on spacecraft systems. And they didn't believe me. Thought I made it up." Malcolm smiled gently, pulling off his glasses. "You know, when I was your age, I told a teacher I wanted to design systems for interstellar travel. She laughed too. Thought I meant Star Wars. But I told the truth," Nico whispered. "I know you did," Malcolm said, kneeling beside him. "But sometimes the truth feels too big for small minds to hold." That night, Nico didn't touch his tablet or video games. He sat in his room drawing. Not aliens or comic book characters like usual, but diagrams, thrusters, solar wings, docking arms. He didn't want to escape to another world. He wanted to build one. Malcolm Ayers didn't start at the top. He didn't even start in the middle. He grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment in Dayton, Ohio, raised by his grandfather, who was once an aircraft mechanic but had lost most of his savings to bad investments. Malcolm learned how engines worked before he could ride a bike. His childhood was filled with busted microwaves, stripped wires, and a bedroom covered in sci-fi posters and printed schematics. He was 15 when he wrote his first line of machine code on a borrowed laptop. By 17, he had won a scholarship to a summer program at Caltech. But even there, he felt like an outsider. He didn't talk like the others, didn't dress like them either. When he shared his design ideas, they called him too ambitious. One professor even told him, "People like you usually drop out before junior year." He didn't argue. He built. Years later, when he finally walked into Orientech's Pasadena campus, resume in hand, wearing a second-hand suit, he didn't come to convince anyone. He came to design systems that could fly past Mars. He never forgot where he started, and when he had Nico, he promised he would build more than machines. He would build legacy. Friday came quicker than Nico expected. The week passed in a fog of awkward silences and side glances. No one teased him directly, not anymore. But there were whispers, side comments, the occasional paper plane with a scribbled rocket boy gliding across the room when the teacher wasn't looking. He didn't correct them, didn't try to explain again. He didn't have to, because Malcolm Ayers had a plan. What Nico didn't know was that on Thursday night, Malcolm had emailed Ms. Hildebrand. Just a short, polite note. "Hello, I'm Malcolm Ayers, Nico's father. I heard you're still hosting Family Career Day tomorrow. If there's time, I'd love to speak." Ms. Hildebrand responded 10 minutes later. Her reply was awkward, peppered with cautious enthusiasm. She wasn't sure what to expect, but something about Malcolm's tone made her say yes. So on Friday morning, just before 10 a.m., while a mom in pink yoga pants was halfway through describing her Etsy jewelry business, the classroom door opened, and everything changed. There was no dramatic music, no flash of light, just a man in a blue Orientech flight suit with an embroidered patch on the chest, reading, "MAERS, Aerospace Systems." The room went still. Ms. Hildebrand blinked. "Oh, this must be Nico's father." Malcolm smiled gently. "That's right. Good morning, everyone." He walked in, calm and composed, holding nothing but a single metal briefcase. He didn't swagger, didn't posture, just walked with presence. Nico's eyes were wide. He hadn't known, hadn't been told. He stood up halfway, unsure of what to do, but Malcolm gave him a small nod and turned to the class. "I hear you've been learning about what our parents do for work," he said. "I'd like to show you something." He clicked open the case and pulled out a folded schematic, blue and white, worn at the edges. "This," he said, unfolding it onto the whiteboard, "is a control system designed for a spacecraft prototype that will one day land on Europa. That's one of Jupiter's moons." Gasps rippled through the room. "I work on integrated guidance systems and fault-tolerant software for deep space travel," he continued. "Basically, I help build the brains of the machines that go where humans can't, yet." A boy in the front whispered, "Like real spaceships." Malcolm nodded. "Very real, and very complicated. But we build them, not because it's easy, because it's necessary." He turned toward the kids, pausing. "I didn't come here to impress anyone," he said. "I came because my son told you the truth, and some of you laughed." Silence. But the truth doesn't stop being true just because you don't believe it. And intelligence doesn't always come in loud voices or shiny shoes. Sometimes it comes in whispers, from kids who speak when it matters most. Nico felt it before he fully understood it. That thing growing in his chest. Not pride. Not yet. Something heavier. Deeper. Belonging. Malcolm closed the case. "Thank you for listening. And thank you for letting my son speak first, even if you didn't hear him the first time." Ms. Hildebrand clapped first, then the class. It wasn't loud. It wasn't a standing ovation, but it was real. The bell rang at 3 o'clock, and the hallway flooded like it always did. But something felt different. Nico noticed it first in the way his classmates looked at him. Curious, not mocking. Not quite friends, not yet, but not strangers either. Theo, the loudest kid in class, didn't say a word. He just nodded once, like he understood something now he hadn't before. At the bike racks, Nico walked next to his dad. Neither of them said anything at first. "You didn't tell me you were coming," Nico said finally. Malcolm shrugged. Didn't want to put pressure on the moment. Just wanted to show up. Nico kicked a small stone down the sidewalk. "They actually listened." "Of course they did," Malcolm said. "But that's not the point." "What is?" "That you spoke first. Whether they laughed or clapped later doesn't change that." Back home, Nico found himself asking more questions than usual. Not about school, but about space. "What's the hardest part of your job?" he asked over dinner. Malcolm smiled. "Convincing people I know what I'm doing." They both laughed. But as they washed dishes later, Malcolm dried his hands and sat across from his son. "You know I wasn't always welcome in rooms like that," he said quietly. "What do you mean?" "Some folks see the suit, the badge, the job title, but they don't know I used to be the only kid in my neighborhood who liked blueprints more than basketball. I got laughed at too. A lot." Nico tilted his head. "What did you do?" "I built anyway." The next week at school felt like walking into a room with new air. Not cleaner, just clearer. People still whispered sometimes, but not with the same edge. At recess, Ava and Jordan came over while Nico was drawing diagrams on his clipboard. "Your dad's really cool," Ava said, kicking her shoe in the dirt. "Like, actually cool." "Yeah," Jordan added. "You think he could help us build a rocket for the science fair?" Nico blinked. "You want to build one?" "Why not?" Jordan grinned. "You already speak rocket." That night, Nico added something new to the sketchbook he kept under his bed. Not just another propulsion system, but a timeline. Not of history, of his future. He labeled each box. Age 12. Learn Python. Age 14. Build flight sim prototype. Age 16. Apply to Star Academy summer program. Age 18. Intern at Oriontech. At the very top, he wrote in all caps, BELONGANGISNDTGIVN. It's built. And below it, smaller, "My dad says I carry a map inside me. I just have to trust it." By the time June rolled around, Ms. Hildebrand handed out memory books, a simple year-end tradition. Each page had photos, quotes, and most likely 2 superlatives. Nico didn't expect much. Maybe most quiet or most improved. But when he opened to his page, he froze. Most likely to design the first Mars rover with AI autopilot. He blinked. Underneath, someone had added in pencil. And launch it, too. Nico smiled, not because they finally got it, but because he no longer needed them to. This story wasn't about being believed anymore. It was about being unchanged by doubt. At home, Malcolm noticed the difference. Nico spoke with more certainty now. Asked better questions. He didn't hide his curiosity. He wore it like armor. One Friday night, as they ate dinner on the back porch, Nico looked at the stars and said, "You think I'll really get there one day?" Malcolm didn't hesitate. "You're already on your way." And in that moment, with the summer breeze brushing against their shoulders, the sky above wasn't just sky. It was a destination. One he would reach, one diagram, one brave truth at a time.